Hello, my name is Samuel Blocker, and this is my attempt to rebalance the Heyward Gibbs portfolio. I was assigned the task to rebalance this Heyward Gibbs portfolio to see the highest amount of return I can get for the lowest amount of risk. So to begin, I was just given the number of shares of each of the 18 stocks in the portfolio. So from there, what I decided to do was get a 5-year monthly average of each individual stock. So that's what I did, and then once I found the return and the standard deviation, I ranked the returns on a scale from 1 to 18, 1 being the highest return, 18 being the lowest return, and then I found the lowest standard deviation also on a scale of 1 through 18, 1 being the stock with the lowest amount of standard deviation, and 18 being the stock with the highest amount of standard deviation. And the reason I did it is just at a glance, I kind of wanted to see which stock performed the best over the course of the 5 years, the average, the highest monthly return for the 5 years, and then I also wanted to see the lowest amount of risk to just see which one experienced the least volatility. So once I found that, I decided to get a weighted average. So what I did was the number of shares times the current stock price, and that gave me the market value of each of the 18 securities in the portfolio, and then I summed the entire thing, so I found the total market value of the portfolio. And once I did that, I just simply divided the market value of each individual security for all 18 securities divided by the total market value portfolio, and that just gave me the average of each individual, the weight of each individual security and what it added or hindered the portfolio. So once I did that, I decided to rebalance it. I decided to use the Excel tool solver to assist with my rebalancing. And so I started with the original amount of weights, simply put my inputs correctly in the solver tool. And once I did that, I found the average, well, before I did all that, I found the average, or the weighted portfolio return and the weighted portfolio measure of risk, which I use standard deviation. What I found was the original return on the portfolio was 1.33%. The standard deviation on the weighted standard deviation of the portfolio was 0.033, or I shouldn't say weighted. The portfolio standard deviation is 0.033. So I decided to see what was the highest amount of return possible with the given 18 securities in the portfolio. I found a huge jump of 4.32%. However, the standard deviation almost tripled, or almost increased by 5 times as much. It was 0.145, so almost 5 times as much as the original, which I didn't think that was a good trade-off. So now we're on the opposite end of the spectrum to see what was the lowest amount of risk that can be generated from the 18 securities in the portfolio. And what I found was it really didn't decrease by much. It was 0.025 for the standard deviation of the lowest risk, which wasn't too much lower than what the portfolio already had. However, the returns were significantly hindered, less than 1% for the average of that monthly average for the 5-year period. So once I did that, I decided to find the middle ground to see if there was a standard deviation that would be lower than the original but generate a higher return. And so after tooling with it for some time, I finally found the right fit. I found that the standard deviation of 0.025 would generate returns of 1.36. So increasing a good bit, not a huge significant amount. However, it's still different. And then you notice that the standard deviation is a good bit lower than the original. So I felt like this was the appropriate way to rebalance it. Some of the weights that changed were Johnson & Johnson, Krispy Kreme Donuts, AT&T, ExxonMobil, and Home Depot. Even though they're good stocks, I just kind of shifted some of the shares out of those stocks and put them in maybe a little more riskier stocks. And what that ended up doing was shooting up the return, but at the same time, it still had the pretty solid foundation of those stocks' stability. So with this being done, I conclude that if the standard deviation is lower to 0.025, you will gain a greater return for less risk. Therefore, this portfolio will be more efficient than the original Heyward Gibbs portfolio. Thank you for your time. That's all I have, and hope you enjoyed.